Hi guys, welcome to my channel. So, the fifth season of The Dragon Prince recently dropped on Netflix. I was very shocked actually. I expected it a few days later than it did, or even sometime in August. So, I was just surprised when I got the notification on that Monday. But anyway, I've got some thoughts, so let's talk about them. And if you enjoyed this video, then please like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you! Now, I'm not going to go through and break down each and every episode one by one. I'll just give a summary of what the show is and what happens in season 5. If you already know all of that, feel free to skip to this time in the video. The Dragon Prince is an animated fantasy Netflix show about these three kids, Callum, Ezrin, and Rayla, and their adventures traveling the world and facing off against world-ending powerful villains. The current story arc is about this ancient villain named Erebos trying to break out of his magical prison that he's been kept in for generations so he can presumably take over the world and destroy all those that stand against him. He has allies that are attempting to free him while the heroes are attempting to keep him locked up for obvious reasons. There's also a subplot about this elf queen trying to protect her kingdom from her brother who seeks to overthrow her and undo all the progressive legislation she's done over the last few years. Now, on to Season 5 specifically. In the main plotline with Cal, Rayla, and Ezrin, the three are doing everything they can to find Erebos' prison and get to it before Claudia and her group can and stop them from freeing the evil elf. Ezrin rallies Dragon Society to help them and find out any information on the prison, while Cal and Rayla find out the secret to killing a star-touched elf is likely in a book at this huge library in Luxura, so they go there to find it. They kinda find what they're looking for and kinda don't before the group reunites and goes searching for the prison's architect to help them find it. They find the architect, she tells them where to go, and off they go to try and get to a ship to take them there. They try to strike a deal with a pirate lord to take them to the prison's location, but that goes south, and soon the pirate lord captures them after Ezrin frees some caged baby animals from his grasp. A whole thing ensues where we try to tempt Cal into using dark magic, but eventually the power of friendship and self-respect saves the day and they feed the hot pirate guy to a shark. Taking his ship, the group finally makes it out to the middle of the ocean to where the prison is and face off against Claudia to capture Erebos' prison and keep it out of the hands of evil. And they win. So they get the prison, all good, that's where we are currently. The secondary view of the main plot is with Claudia, Terry, Viren, and their purple monster. Claudia leads the charge for them to get to Erebos as quickly as possible so he can make the resurrection spell on Viren permanent. Along the way, they're stalked by the hero's dragon allies, and eventually Claudia starts torturing their stalkers, to which Terry tells her to chill out and keep moving. Meanwhile, Viren is trapped in his own mind, being forced to confront his own self and how he led a very dark life, fueled by a lust for power, and how that has affected all of the major relationships in his life, including how his children turned out and how they view him. When they get to the prison, Claudia goes into the ocean to free Erebos from his prison, but again faces off against Cal, Ezrin, and Rayla and loses hard. While that is happening, however, Erebos projects his image to Viren onto the beach and says the purple monster is their child and that he can make the resurrection spell permanent if he just kills the monster. Viren refuses because he's done leading a life of evil filled with dark magic and self-interest and accepts that he's going to die again. Later that night, Claudia breaks down to Terry and feels like an utter failure for not being able to free Erebos and make the resurrection spell permanent. In the side plot with Janai and Amaya, the two are getting married and are doing all the wedding planning stuff. However, Janai is having nightmares about Erebos, which give her a bad feeling that something big is coming. What they don't know is that Janai's exiled brother that tried to stage a coup last season still has ambitions of completing that coup and is gaining allies to use against them, including a blood magic assassin and potentially the Sun Dragon himself. When Cal and Rayla come into town asking about the library from earlier, Amaya goes with them to help defend them against any monsters, that come after them since the city of Luxura is cursed. With Amaya gone, Janai's brother and his blood assassin attack and try to steal the magic sunseed of the kingdom, but when they can't do that, they kidnap Janai instead and hold her for ransom. When Amaya gets back, she breaks down after hearing Janai got kidnapped but goes to get her back. Amaya, Janai, her brother, and the Blood Assassin face off against each other, and the Coup bitches run off into the night after being beaten. When Amaya and Janai get back, however, they're informed that someone of notable rank in the Sun Elf Society has stolen the Sunseed and ran off with it to Janai's brother, giving the enemy a great victory and potentially usurping power of the kingdom. So that's basically what has gone on in Season 5. Now let's get into my overall thoughts. I did enjoy this season more than Season 4, so, that's good. It didn't feel as slow and meandering as last season. Like, yeah, the pacing was still slow because that's how the show works, but it didn't feel like we were just doing pointless side quests for like 3 to 4 episodes at a time. It always felt like we kept the events moving, even when we got delayed by a side villain. I'm going to be honest, the Janai Amaya subplot is still more interesting than the main plot for me. Like, first of all, I better see them get married next season. And if her bitch ass brother crashes the wedding with another coup attempt, I'm gonna jump through the screen and kill him myself. Okay? Like, let's just get that out of the way first. Like, don't even try and mess with their wedding, honey. Just don't. But second, I'm sorry, the coup stuff is so much more interesting to me than anything Erebos has going on. Like, I'm sorry, I know it's just a side plot, but yeah, the coup stuff and Sun Elf Society stuff, that's more interesting to me. Janai's brother is so delusional, and he's gonna fuck things up even more for the Fire Elf Society in future seasons. Like, I can just feel it. And the fact that he has the Sunseed now, I was like, no, no, this is not good. And the Blood Assassin lady, yeah, I need more of her next season. Okay, I'm low-key a sucker for blood magic. Like, I don't care if it crosses the line into edgelord tryhard territory. I just think it's so cool. So, like, give me more of her. Like, she looks cool. I like her powers. Like, yeah, give me more of her. Also, I did like how Janai and Amaya were involved somewhat in the main plot in the library episode. Like, they were still in their own little bubble, like usual, but it is nice to see them get involved in the main story for a little bit to, make everything seem more cohesive and tied together. Next, I'm concerned for the mother dragon now. Like, okay, I didn't talk about it in my summary, but basically, like, the dragon prince's mother, Zim's mom, the queen dragon, she, like, is helping the main heroes on their quest, and at one point, when they're at the library and they're, like, being attacked by monsters who, like, turn you into zombie if you get, like, scratched by them, the dragon queen gets like scratched by one of the zombies, so she's like suffering and being corrupted and dying throughout the rest of the season. So yeah, but like I'm so concerned for her, and like I need to know what happens to her next. Like that infection from the zombies was nasty, and it only got like way worse as the season went on. And in the final episode, where she has that dream of seeing her dead husband again and wanting to like give up and die so she can be with him again, but then like snaps out of it and has to be strong for Zim, like that was both so sad and so sweet. Like I really like that scene. And what the hell was that fungi mushroom guy? Like what was he about? Like he just randomly like popped up at the end and started singing to her and like stuff started like growing on her. Like was he healing her? Was he burying her? What was he doing? I need to know. Also, I kind of wish we had spent more time with her because it kind of felt like we just like left her in the dust after she got the zombie scratch. But at the same time, I do understand why we didn't spend a lot of time with her because it probably would have been just more scenes of her being in pain and writhing and screaming and stuff like that because, she's in pain. But yeah, I need to know what becomes of her. Like, does she die? Does the infection consume her and turn her evil? Does she get healed? What will everyone else say when they find out about this and her condition? Also, that just reminded me, those kids were kind of nasty about their reaction to her being missing. Because when she wasn't at the meeting place to pick them up, they were all just kind of like, well, damn, our Uber isn't here. That sucks. And then they just moved on with their life. And they didn't think about what could possibly be going on that kept her away in any of the other episodes. Damn, y'all are mean. Queenie's over here fighting for her life, and y'all can't even spare her a thought and wonder what made her go missing? Kids. Oh my god. And that transitions us over to the main plot and its characters. Okay, can I first say, before anything else, that it's so obvious that the writers really want Cal to enter his villain arc. But, to me, it just seems so forced. Last season, we had him get possessed by Erebos and was, kind of taunting everyone about him going to the dark side. And then this season, we had a whole episode dedicated to him, deciding to use dark magic or not, and it being this, huge conflict that everyone is invested in. Can we please be serious? Okay, when the hot pirate fishman said, I'll let you and everyone else go if you get me, one evil spell, and Cal was like, no, no, I will never do dark magic ever again. I was like, boy, you are so unserious. It's one spell for all y'all's freedom. I don't care if he's lying, take the deal. Oh, it'll taint your soul with darkness. Oh. Okay, again, it's one spell. Go do a juice cleanse or something. It's not that deep. And then the bitch used dark magic to help his friends later anyway, so you lost the moral high ground anyway. That boy has been getting on my nerves the last few seasons, I'll just say that. But yeah, I can tell the writers really want evil Cal either in this arc's climax or to be like the villain of Arc 3. Is there even going to be an Arc 3? I don't know. Anyway, but I'm so sorry. It just feels so forced. Because the only times he's ever done dark magic were when he's completely desperate and out of options to save his friends, and both times he's felt like shit and guilty for using it. He's not satisfied or wanting to use it more. He just feels empty and sad for using it. So why do we keep trying to hint at an evil Cal plotline kind soon? It does not fit him. Anyway, I harped on that, so let's talk about everyone else in the main story. Ezran, he kind of felt useless this season. I'm sorry, he did. He doesn't really do anything besides give a speech to all the dragons to help hunt down Claudia and stop Erebos, and then is also the catalyst for the pirate lord guy and them getting captured by him. That's kind of all he does this season. After that, he just seems there. Not really doing anything for the plot, not really advancing any character arcs, and he isn't the comic relief because, we have Soren for that. So Ezra just kind of tags along this season, which is unfortunate. On a related note, I feel like the season also highlighted a big problem with Zim's character. Because let's be honest, Zim was always more of a plot device and comedic relief in the first arc than anything else. And now that the second arc isn't centered on him, he feels kinda directionless, especially since, again, we have Soren on the main team to be the comic relief. But that was kinda covered up last season because I felt like Zim is so closely tied to Ezran, and Ezran had a lot more to do last season. With Ezra not really having much to do this season, I felt like it really highlighted how dependent Zim's character is on that child. Because that dragon did nothing this whole season. I forgot he was even there half the time. And I feel like it's a major flaw for the Dragon Prince to be so useless and heavily tied to another character, because, the show is titled The Dragon Prince. It's named after Zim. He should probably be kind of important at all times, I don't know, that's just my opinion. As for Rayla, I did find it kind of iconic how the writers literally had her tell us in the library episode that it was not the time to deal with those coins and to just let it go for now. Because we immediately forgot all about that after that episode, and I just found that so funny. Like, anyway, they had that poor girl suffering this season. She is deathly scared of water, and what was this season all about? Water. The ocean. Yep, every 5 seconds they had her jumping off things in the ocean. Like, oh my god, poor girl. Concerning her and Cal, I'm glad that we're finally done with the like miscommunication. Oh, we're not gonna talk about our relationship. We're just gonna ignore that bullshit from last season because I hated the miscommunication thing. I hated them not talking about anything last season. It's just acting so awkward. I hated it. So I'm glad that this season we're finally done with that and we're finally like having them like act like normal friends again. Like finally, thank God. And as for Soren, like, what do you want me to say about him? He was there, and his whole thing was making jokes about how he has amazing muscles. Like, that's it. Like, what do you want me to say about him? He's the comic relief. Like, and he doesn't really do anything else besides that. Like, he doesn't really have character arc anymore. Ugh, I don't. What do you want me to say about him? You know, on the note of just like him being just there, I kind of feel that way about all the main characters, good and bad. They were just there. They did a little something, they journeyed to find Erebos' prison, but they didn't like really feel like they did much. You know? I don't know how to explain it. Like, everyone was there and did a little bit, but like, no one this season had really any standout moments in the plot or like any big progression in their arcs. Like, you could say Cal had a little bit of a standout moment in like the eighth episode with like standing up to the hot fish pirate guy, but again, the whole oh, he's being tempted with dark magic thing just feels so forced to me. Anyway, now for the evil bitches. Claudia. She's not my favorite character, but her character arc is the one that I'm most interested in seeing play out. I'm really liking her descent into madness and how she's liking being evil more and more. I still firmly believe she's going to push it too far at some point and make Terry leave her, at which point she'll like fully snap and become totally uncontrolled because she'll no longer have anyone in her corner who can like tell her to chill out. So, yeah, I am very interested in seeing what happens with Claudia next, especially now that Viren is presumably dead for good now. Like, her whole alliance with Erebos hinged on him making the resurrection spell permanent, so if he's dead now for good, then why would Claudia even bother with him? And, like, what's her next goal now? Like, I'm curious what happens to her if Viren stays dead. If Viren does not stay dead, which I'll get to in a moment, like, throw that whole thing that I just said out the window. Then I don't even know what we're doing at this point then. Anyway, Terry. Still love him with all my heart. We love plant nerd characters in this house. However, I do hope at some point the writers give him his own stuff to do that doesn't revolve around Claudia. Because so far he's just her supportive boyfriend that keeps her from going insane and nothing else. I mean, that was fine in season 4 to introduce him, but this is the second season where his entire existence like revolved around Claudia and being her boyfriend, and that's it. I just want more for him, that's all. Viren. Now, this reanimated corpse should stay dead for good this time, but why do I get the feeling the writers are not gonna let him stay dead? Yeah, I have a feeling they're not gonna let him stay dead. I just feel like something is gonna be pulled in the first or second episode of season 6 to keep him alive because they made a big deal this season about him potentially becoming good and like trying to redeem Claudia soon. And then he just doesn't really do that. Besides like rejecting dark magic one time in the final episode and then laying down in the grass and dying again, like he doesn't really, hmm. And I'm so sorry, but I hate that the annoying ugly monster thing that has been tagging along with them was revealed to be a kid of sorts between Viren and Erebos, and it's for a very specific reason. I hate that twist reveal because it immediately drained any and all tension from that scene that it was revealed in. Because when Erebos said, "You have to kill one of your kids to make the resurrection spell permanent," I was gagged. Like, I was thinking Mr. Elfman had been luring Claudia into a trap all this time to make her the sacrifice or something, and like Viren would be like truly put to the test of how far he's willing to go for his own self-interest. Like, I was really ready to watch him like sweat and like really hesitate to choose whether to kill Claudia and stay alive or let her live and, just accept that he's about to die. I was really ready to watch that. But then when Erebos said, "Oh yeah, this ugly monster that everyone hates, yeah, it's our kid. You can just kill it and stay alive." I just rolled my eyes and lost all interest at that point because it felt like such a cheap excuse. And also, again, the purple monster is annoying. It's stupid. We all hate it. I assume we all hate it. I don't know who the fuck could love that thing. But like, please name me one person who actually likes that screeching purple thing. I'll wait. I'll wait. Type it in the comments. Do you love the purple monster? Prove me wrong. Who likes that purple thing? I'm sorry. Anyway. And then Viren still didn't kill it. And it's supposed to be like this big character moment of him rejecting the dark side finally. But it's like, no, it's not. I'm sorry, judge me all y'all want, but I would have been like, hell yeah, I get to remain alive, and I have a reason to kill this annoying screechy thing. Hand me that knife right now. Imagine how much more powerful it would have been if something had happened to Claudia, and that's why Viren finally rejected the dark side, because he refused to kill one of his actual children. Like, that would have been so good, and I would have actually given him props for that. But now I just think he's an idiot. Like, I'm sorry. You're just stupid for what you did. I'm sorry, you are. On a more positive note on Viren, I really like the dream moral stuff in the first two episodes where he was like being forced to confront himself and how his actions affect everyone in his life. That was very interesting, seeing him finally realize that he led a very shitty life and raised his daughter to be just as vile as him. That whole stuff with him being trapped in his mind, it was so interesting to watch. I really liked those scenes. But yeah, overall, this was a better season than 4, but it still had quite a few issues for me. I'm still here for season 6 and 7 though, and looking forward to what could happen next since we found Erebos' prison and the heroes captured it so they can keep it safe. Like, what comes next? I'm very curious. Is there gonna be like, I don't know, like Claudia leading a siege against the castle or something to steal back the prison so she can free Erebos or something? I don't know. Like, what's gonna happen next? I don't know. I'm curious. But anyway, that's it from me. If you enjoyed this video, then please give it a like and subscribe to my channel. Tell me in the comments what you thought of the 5th season of The Dragon Prince. Did you like it? Did you dislike it? Let me know. I'll talk to you next time. Bye.